Welcome to Pitta Pacifying Yoga. I'm Dr. Roberta Garceau, and I am delighted to share this time with you and this practice. So, what is Pitta anyway? Pitta is that part of ourselves, and we all have some of it, right, to a greater or lesser degree, that corresponds to our fire. So think of like that fire in your belly, that drive, that desire, that ambition, as well as the fire that digests our food into nutrients that nourish our body, and even thoughts and ideas into new understanding. And sometimes that fire is a little smoldery, right? It's like you can barely toast a marshmallow on that thing. Other times, and quite often, the fire is a 5-alarm fire, just raging, blazing, out of control, and it's not sustainable. So this practice is an invitation to either breathe a little life into your fire if it needs a little lifting, or to tame your fire. We don't want to extinguish it, right? So we're going to just tend to our fire today and temper that fire so that it's sustainable and nurturing and healthy. You may see I have a mat here, a couple of foam blocks. These can be helpful if you have yoga blocks. If you don't, you're always welcome to use some mega rolls of toilet paper or paper towels or a stack of books, anything that supports your practice. And I also have a strap here. You can use a belt, a tea towel, a hand towel, a sock, anything that is kind of like a limb extender. That's nice to have handy. And you might notice I'm sitting on a blanket. Blankets can be useful to give a little cushioning to your knees or to give you warmth or anything else that you need them for. So optional, but I used to think, I don't need props. I got this, I don't need any of this. And then I learned, well, sometimes they can help to support me or help me experience a posture in a different way. So I'll leave that to you. As always, I'm offering something that has lots of modifications, variations, options for you. And the invitation and the request is please choose what's best for you. Ultimately, you know yourself the best, and you're responsible for your own well-being. All right, so let's begin. You can find a comfortable seat, and you can even practice in a chair if that's more supportive for you. If you do, just come on out to the edge of your seat. And then bringing hands to heart center. Inhale, draw them all the way up the center line. This is seated mountain. And then exhale, confetti fingers. Just let go of the cares, worries, concern, insomnia, anxiety. Let it go, let it go. Tomorrow is a mystery. Inhale, sweep up all that is. Exhale, hands down the center line, and then cup the hands over the eyes and breathe. Present moment, perfect moment. Inhale, draw the hands up over the head again. Now cup the hands to a royal wave and coulda, shoulda, woulda, regret, disappointment, attachment, depression. Let it go, let it go. Yesterday is history. Inhale, sweep up all that's goodness. Exhale, hands down the center line. Trace your face and then cradle your head in your hands. You can close your eyes if that feels good. And breathe. You are perfect in this and every moment. One last breath, draw the hands up overhead. This time, exhale, shake it all out. Make some horse lips. Irritation, frustration, inflammation, anger, impatience, judgment, criticism, excuses. Just let it all out your fingers. And then breathing in, sweep up all that's bright and beautiful. Cross your wrists, link your thumbs, and then let your fingers float down like butterfly wings till they land on your collarbones. And then we'll practice some centering. You can lower your gaze or soften your eyes. And just notice your bottom supported by your seat. And scan your body for any areas of warmth, maybe your armpits or your knee pits or your groin. Notice any areas of inflammation or throbbing, any sharpness or pain or tingling. And then bring your awareness to your thoughts, your mind, body. Notice any judgments there about others, about this practice, about yourself. And if you catch yourself judging, don't judge yourself for judging, right? Just notice. By practicing presence, awareness, you can practice self-care and self-compassion. And by being more compassionate with yourself, you're more available to be aware, caring, and compassionate with others. So I'll offer you the affirmation. I embody peace and ease in the present moment. If you'd like to repeat that to yourself or out loud, I embody peace and ease in the present moment. You can release your hands down to your lap and let your eyes flutter back to awareness if you've had them closed. We'll begin movement by tracing a smile with your chin. Now I'll be mirroring you, so inhale, sweep the left ear towards the left shoulder. Exhale, chin to the chest. Inhale, right ear to right shoulder, beginning to stretch out the neck. Exhale, chin to chest. Breathing in again to either side and breathing out. Inhale. And then the next time you find yourself off to the left, pause there. You can bring your left hand down to the mat. Inhale, sweep your opposite hand all the way up overhead and let your fingers expand like the 5 points of a star. Inhale, stretch, feeling space and air in your armpit and your side ribs. Exhale, close one finger at a time. Inhale, let your stars shine. Exhale, the stars go back out. One more breath here. And then come up onto your left knee, your right foot into half circle. Getting a nice stretch here. Breathing in again and breathing out. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale. And breathing out, sweeping that hand all the way down and back. You can tuck your leg behind you. So you're kind of coming into a stag's leap. Inhale, the right arm behind. Exhale, sweep it across the horizon, clearing away any clutter. Inhale, breathing in. Exhale out anything that you don't need to make your fire a little more hot and heavy. One more breath, clearing away any smoke or fog out of the direction that you're going. Inhaling back, and then bringing the back leg forward. There's the option to take your strap here around your sole of your foot to extend your reach, or if you can naturally hold it in your hand or your elbow. Every body has a different dimension and flexibility. Taking this knee in the hand or the elbow, and just give yourself a rock, right? Opening up the hip. And gaze lovingly at these beautiful legs that carry you around all day long. You know, sometimes just a little gratitude goes a long way to soften your heart. Imagine you're just cradling a sweet little puppy or kitten, right? And now extend your leg. Here's where the strap can also come in handy, around the sole of the foot. Inhale, press the heel away. Exhale, draw the toes towards the nose. It's not a destination, it's just a direction. Breathing in and pressing away through the heel. Breathing out, draw the toes closer. Keep that knee soft so you're not hyperextending. One more breath, press away. Exhale. And then keep the strap in your left hand, but just hold your leg down a little further near your calf or your thigh. And take some circles in the ankles. Take about 8 or 10 circles in one direction, and then circle the opposite direction. Noticing if there's any crunching or crackling and seeing how smooth you can make it. Nice. And releasing the leg down, bring both knees to the center line. So you can stack your knees one on top of the other, kind of like stacking some firewood, right? We're gonna stay with that fire theme. Keeping the strap in the left hand, inhale, extend the hand away. Exhale, draw it back. Inhale, offer. Exhale, bring it back. One more time forward. This time, bend the elbow, bring it all the way up overhead, and then sweep the opposite arm to catch the elbow. Beautiful. You can stay here in this gorgeous, oh my goodness posture. Breathing, allowing space into your heart. Getting a little air to the armpits, cooling things down. If you'd like a little more, option to sweep the arm all the way down and around so that it catches the strap behind you. If your arms and hands naturally touch each other, you can take that and just release the strap. Otherwise, using the strap as leverage to draw your limbs together. Draw them a little closer, get a little more stretch in the shoulders, and a little yin-yang, so pulling up and then pulling down. Beautiful. Remembering to keep that length in your spine. One more breath here, and then releasing both arms, straps, coming on down, and stand that top knee up, so you're standing on the foot. Breathe in, sweep the left arm around to hug the thigh, gazing over the right shoulder, taking a twist. Now, if you're pregnant or you have a little more belly flesh, you can stay here, or if you prefer, you can try simple twist, which opens to the opposite side. So one or the other is fine. And don't be fooled by the name simple twist. It can be a beautiful spiral, kind of like smoke spiraling up out of a fire, right? And exhale, unwind from the twist. Take your legs and switch the cross. And we'll begin again. Now, another option on this side is if you have tender hands or wrists, you can also use a block to extend your arms and come down onto a forearm and elbow. Inhale, sweep the left arm up and over. Breathing in, come halfway up. Breathing out. Inhaling up and smiling at the sky. Exhaling over. Next breath, go ahead and step your left leg long, coming up onto the right knee, and shine your hand like a star. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, close one finger at a time, coming into a loose fist. Just beginning to open up the wrist and fingers. Inhaling, open. Exhaling, closed. You can imagine the sun rises and the sun sets. And then sweep the whole arm down and around. Let your bottom come back to the mat. Tuck that foot behind you, back in your stag's leap. Inhale, sweep the left arm behind. Exhale, sweep away the fog. Inhale the fresh air. Clear that smoke. One more nice breath in. Breathe it out. And then sweep back, gather the back foot. Bring it up again, option to use your strap or bring your foot to your hand. The crook of your arm, wherever you reach. Knee comes to the hand or the elbow. And now you've got a gorgeous newborn baby here. So sweet and beautiful. You can blow it a kiss. Lovely. I'll invite you to take your strap here, bring it around the sole of your foot. Breathing in, breathing out. Step that left leg long, pressing through the heel. Inhale, heel away. Exhale, toes towards the nose. Breathing in here and breathing out. Knee is soft. Exhale, releasing it down. Keep the strap in your right hand, if you will, and stack your firewood again. Get that left knee on top of the right. Inhale the right hand forward. Exhale it back. Breathing in, fresh breeze. Breathing out. One more time forward. And this time as you exhale, bend the elbow, bring it right behind you, sweep the opposite hand up to the elbow, and draw it towards the center line. Give yourself a pat on the back. You're doing great. Option to stay here in this oh my goodness pose, or you can take the top hand, sweep it all the way around, down and back, bend the elbow and reach up to your strap or your hand. And sometimes it's interesting that one side can feel different from another. Breathing in and breathing out. Releasing the strap and the hands. You can just place that aside. Stand the top knee up, standing on that foot. Sweep the right arm around to hug the thigh. if you took this on the other side. So option to stay here in this beautiful seated twist, reaching tall as if there was a string from your sits bones all the way up your spine and through the top of your head. Or simple twist. So whichever you did on the other side. Or you can practice both. Taking a breath and unwinding. Making your way to hands and knees in table pose. So if you were sitting on a block or a cushion, you might want to remove that to the front of your mat. And if you're practicing with a blanket, that can be lovely to cushion your knees. You're going to have your knees under your hips and your shoulders above your wrists. And making your way to table pose with your hips above your knees, your wrists below your shoulders. If you have tender hands or wrists, you're always able to come onto fists or blocks, either with your hands, or you can put the blocks on a medium pose and come to forearms. So lots and lots of options, always options. But in any event, inhale, bring the right knee up at a right angle. Go ahead and begin to make some circles with your hips here. So this is fire hydrant, right? And sometimes fire hydrants can be nice to cool you off during the summer, or certainly necessary for the fire trucks to fill up. Go the opposite direction. And this is a beautiful way to loosen and lubricate the hips. With the next breath, extend that right leg long, flexing the foot, and then sweep it all the way behind you, coming onto your toe, gazing over your left shoulder. Inhale, sweep the right foot behind you. Exhale, draw it all the way through your hands, coming into low lunge, and then curl the left toes under, lift the left knee, find yourself into a high lunge. Beautiful. Go ahead and trace a figure 8 with your hands, beginning to loosen up the wrists. And then stop. Inhale here. Exhale. And then slide your left hand across your wrist, forearm, upper arm, across your chest, opening up out to the side. Let your back foot come at a 45-degree angle to the mat and finding yourself in side warrior, warrior 2. Inhale, reach long through the fingertips as if you're being pulled in many directions. Can anybody relate to that? And then exhale, draw the shoulder blades towards each other. Inhale, expand, reach. Exhale, draw back to your center, to your core. You've got this. One more time. And as you exhale, this time flip the front palm up. Bring the back hand behind you. Exhale, reverse warrior. Inhale with an open palm, sweep it all the way up and over, landing your forearm on your thigh. And then continue to sweep here, a little dancing warrior, as if you're painting rainbows across the sky. Like, how can you not smile, right? Beautiful. One more time, back and forth, inhaling as you begin and exhaling as you arrive. Last time forward, this time bring both hands down to either your blocks or the mat. Point your left toe forward, so both feet are facing forward, and step your right foot back to meet your left. Send your hips up to the sky in downward facing dog. Go ahead and pedal your feet here a little bit, walk your dog. And as you're ready, exhale, lower the knees back to the mat, finding yourself in table pose again. Now you can stay right where you are. I'm just going to switch around so that we can see each other virtually. And take the other side. So breathing in, left knee comes at a right angle in your fire hydrant. And breathing out, begin to make your circles. So besides lubricating the hips also contain a lot of stories, right? Sometimes they're stories that people told us either directly or inadvertently. And sometimes they're stories that we tell ourselves. They're not usually true. So opening the hips allows those to kind of just be let go. Now inhale, extend the left leg long. Exhale, flexing the foot, sweep it all the way behind you, coming down onto your toe, so your gaze over your right shoulder at your heel. Inhale, sweep the foot long behind you. Exhale, draw it all the way between your hands, curl the right toes under, lift that right knee, and find yourself in a high lunge, hands together. Begin to make a figure 8 and then pause and go the opposite direction. Usually we have a habitual way of doing things, and doing them a little bit differently opens up creativity. Now, we don't need to be so rigid. And finding stillness, inhale here. Exhale, draw that hand across the forearm, across the chest, opening to the side, and letting the back foot again come to a 45-degree angle. Inhale, your middle fingers away from each other. This time, maybe it's a friend or a loved one who's saying, hey, come play with me. You're working too much. You're too much going on there. And then exhale, draw the shoulders back together. Inhale, expand. Exhale, draw it in. One more breath. And now flip up the left palm. Exhale as you sweep your rainbow back and behind. Inhale, dance your warrior all the way up overhead. Exhale as you arrive. Breathing in and breathing out. So feeling simultaneously grounded and expansive. You got this, right? Now go ahead and face forward, pivot that back foot forward, take a slight bend in the right knee and step the right foot up to the left. Just find yourself in mountain pose. And breathe. Option to close your eyes or just lower your gaze, whatever's comfortable for you. And notice what, if anything, has shifted. Feel your heartbeat. Notice your breath. And any sensations. And making our way to balance postures, you can stay in your mountain with your feet about hip width apart. If you're still cultivating balance, you can practice near a wall or a piece of solid furniture or a tree, something that's not moving. And go ahead and begin to roll your feet in and out so you're feeling the outside edges, and then roll onto the toes and the heels. Beautiful. So find your solid grounding where you're on all the edges of your feet. Inhale, let the weight come to your right leg. Exhale, bend the left knee, and you can use your strap if you need it, but catch it with your hand behind you. This is adequately called heel to buttocks pose, right? So it's a beautiful hip flexor release and quad release. You can stay here, especially if you need to hold on to something, or option to inhale the right arm all the way up overhead. Option to stay here, or exhale, begin to pivot from the hips, pressing the foot really strongly into the back hand. Yeah, the stronger you press into the hand, the more solid and steady you'll be. Breathing in and rising up. Breathing out and lowering down. Feel free to come in and out of balance. If you want a little extra challenge, you can sweep the hand behind so that both hands are on that foot. Inhaling, opening the heart, and exhaling, bowing. Inhale, wherever you are. Exhale, burnout. Inhale, bliss. And exhale, release the foot, the hands, and just give it a little shake. And notice if one side feels different, one leg feels more solid or heavy or lighter or longer than the other. Of course, we'll be moving to the other side, so let your weight come into your left leg. Inhale here, and exhale, bend your knee, clasping it with your hand. Option to stay here in heel to buttocks pose, or breathing in, sweep the arm all the way up overhead. Option to stay here, or go ahead and press firmly into that back foot as you begin to pivot forward. Inhale, rise, just little micro movements, and exhale, lower. Noticing how one side can be different from the other. Option to stay here or bringing both hands behind you. Breathing in and breathing out. Inhale the good. Exhale the stagnant. Inhale bliss. And exhale, release the legs and the arms wherever you are. or just give it a little shake. Now, if you've had your blanket on your mat, you can just toss that aside for the moment. And bring your feet a little wider, like as wide as your mat or maybe a little wider than that. And begin to just kind of sway back and forth, letting your arms sway as if you were wearing a lab coat or a raincoat that's like 2 sizes too big. Just letting those loose, empty coat sleeves swing back and forth. And if your feet naturally lift the ground, you can take that option, or you can leave your heels on the ground. Feel yourself moving through space, feeling a cool breeze, and then just be gentle, right? Allow the movement to just slowly, organically come to stillness. Whew. And breathe. Just take a moment for yourself to soak in the benefits of your practice thus far. And as long as you're not dizzy, you can step your feet even a little bit wider, about a leg's length apart, pointing the toes towards the midline. Inhale, hands to hips. Exhale, begin to pivot at the waist, just taking a forward fold. Now, if this makes you lightheaded or it's uncomfortable, don't do it. Stay more upright. Inhale here, and then exhale wherever is your natural stopping point. Stay there. You can let your hands slide down your legs if that's comfortable for you. And take some neck circles. So if it's comfortable to let your neck release, you can use the weight of gravity as a little bit of extra traction. And taking some circles, again, trying to smooth out any cricks or cracks. Be sure to take 8 or 10 circles in each direction. If there's any crunchiness, make your circles even a little bit smaller. Beautiful. Now you can take your blocks and walk your feet in a couple of steps with your toes pointed out. And then make, right behind your bottom, make a little chair for yourself. And go ahead and sit down, or use a real chair, an actual chair. Coming into a squat. If this is your squat, that is great. You're ready. And if you don't need the blocks, you can let them go. But we're just going to take a moment here with the elbows inside the legs, wherever your squat is. Palms are together. Take a little isometric exercise here. So you're pressing your knees towards each other, and you're opposing them by pressing your elbows away, right? Strengthening your back and your inner thighs. And you can imagine just sitting around a campfire. Like traditional people spent a lot of time squatting. They didn't have chairs. They had rocks and roots, but they spent a lot of time squatting around their campfire, telling stories, singing, chanting, praying, eating, working. Beautiful. And you can stay here, or at any time, just make your way down to your belly. That's where we'll be moving next. Or if you'd like a little arm balance challenge, we're going to take a crow variation. So you can come down right onto your hands if your palms and wrists are supportive. Otherwise, you can bring blocks on the low position, keep your arms inside your legs, and come on down to your forearms. Now begin to lean forward so that the weight comes onto your upper body. And you can practice, if you like, lifting one toe at a time, setting it back down, lifting the other foot, and setting it down. And if you're inclined, go ahead and practice lifting both feet at the same time. This engages your core, your back, requires a bit of focus. But whatever you've chosen, see if you can take that laser focus and invite a little ease, right? Sometimes if we just invite a little bit of ease into the effort, we're a lot more effective. Wherever you are, letting both feet back to the ground, coming back to sit in your squat, and then making your way down onto your belly. Beautiful. You can bring your hands to your shoulders, Palms facing down so your elbows are tucked in by your sides. Beautiful. And then let your forehead or your chin come to the mat. Inhale, press your hips and your pelvis into the mat. Exhale, lift your left leg just a couple inches. Inhale, reach it long. Exhale. Continue to reach long as if your best friend was pulling your leg and saying, hey, come on with me. Exhale, let it lower. And just notice if one leg feels longer than the other. Breathing in, pressing the pelvis and pubic bone into the mat. Breathing out, lift the right leg just a couple inches. You're going for length, not height. Beautiful. There may be a stretch in the front of your hip. Inhale here, and exhale, lower. With the next breath, press the pelvic and pubic bones into the mat. Inhale. Exhale, peel your torso up off the ground in little baby cobra. Inhale here. Exhale, come down just halfway. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Breathing in. Beautiful, coming all the way down. You can extend your arms long by your sides so your palms are flat by your thighs. Palms are facing down on the ground. Inhale, press the pelvis and pubic bone into the mat. Exhale, lift the forehead, the chest, the legs, and then option to lift the arms too in a little Superman pose. Little locust, Shalabhasana. Inhale, rise. Exhale, lower. And just imagine that you're kind of floating along the clouds. You can look down and see the green grass and the blue waters, the brown earth. And looking up, you see the white clouds, maybe a little mauve or purple or orange or pink skies. One more breath here. Then exhale, come all the way down, bring the hands by the shoulders and press the hips back, knees as wide as the mat, walk your hands back and lower down into child's pose. And just rest a moment. Rest and breathe. And as you're ready, walk your hands back up to sitting. You can let your feet come on out. And we're going to make your way down to your back. So coming all the way down onto your back, you can step your feet right up to the trees, up to the sky. Inhale here. Exhale. You can breathe in and step your feet apart. And breathe out, cross your ankles one over the other. Inhale, expand. Exhale, cross the opposite way. So continue with your breath here to strengthen the inner thighs, strengthen your core, and enjoy a beautiful inversion while you do the scissoring posture. Imagine the sun shining on your face, birds flying overhead, blue skies, green leaves. And as you're ready, go ahead and bend both knees towards the armpits or the chest. Hug the shins and give yourself a little rock. And if there's any last stretch or movement that you need before relaxation, go ahead and take that. Otherwise, you can stretch your legs long, or if your low back is tender, you can place your feet at the edge of the mat and just tent your knees together. The invitation is to close the eyes or soften the gaze and just breathe naturally. Taking as long or as short as you need to integrate your practice. This time you've made for yourself to tend to your own inner fire. And then beginning to bring a little movement to your fingers or toes. You can stretch your arms overhead if that would feel good. As you're ready, go ahead and bend the knees and roll off onto one side. You can pause there a moment. And press your hand up so you come to sitting. We'll take just 2 minutes here of breath work before we close our practice. So I will not be mirroring you. You're going to take your right hand, palm out, and then bend down your index and middle fingers into Vishnu Mudra. Take your right thumb to your right nostril and inhale up the left side. Close the left nostril with the ring finger. Exhale down the right. Inhale right. Switch. Exhale left. Breathe in. Switch and breathe out. Take a couple more breaths on your own here. And taking your own time. The next time you find yourself breathing out the left side, just release the posture. Let the hands come down to the lap. So alternate nostril breathing, even for 2 or 3 minutes, can be so helpful to center the mind and refocus. As we come to a close, I truly thank you for your attention, your curiosity, and your willingness to practice. Bringing hands together. Remember, the peace of yoga, grounding and energizing, is with you always. The peace and light in me sees the peace and light in you. Namaste.